Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is... Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest...
I'm Paulina.
And I'm Ajay.
and today we're going to talk about everything dance related and more. So I would love to start out with, how did you guys meet? Because I know you guys are a couple.
You want to tell her after?
Which version is the faster version?
I think you got the faster version.
So actually I had another good friend also called AJ.
Okay.
Also a dancer.
Okay.
And shout out to him. He introduced us basically. I came
A
to
mutual friend.
take
Love
his
that.
class at Millennium. And then we never spoke again. I just took the class. It was cool. But then 4 months later, we matched on Bumble.
Okay. Did you guys notice each other in the class? Like, was it like, or was it later on?
I noticed when people come to my classes, but at the time I was a little distracted with other things going on.
Okay.
So.
Okay. With life.
Yeah, there was a lot happening around that time, so I didn't really think too much of the situation. We didn't really talk either, so
I definitely noticed him.
Okay.
I was like, he's cute.
Yeah.
Then I tried to slide in the DMs, but that didn't work, and so
I was a little preoccupied.
And then so you guys reconnected, and then how long after we connected did you guys start dating?
It was about 4 months.
Okay, things were moving quickly
during COVID.
And you guys both knew, like, okay, we both dance. Obviously, we're pretty good at it. Like, did you guys like dance together, or like what? How did that?
We do dance together, but dance really wasn't like the connecting point. I'm big on personality, and
I love that.
When we met the first time, it was kind of that instant kind of connection.
Yeah,
That's
we
huge.
we lived different lives, but we shared similar experiences. So I feel like it felt like I knew this person.
That's huge. I feel like that's huge in a relationship too. Like, not everything's always gonna like, you're not gonna like everything like 100%. You're gonna have different personalities. So it's nice to like hear that too, that it's like you found common things that you guys like. And in this case, it's like the arts and like
so
music.
We just became really good friends, honestly. We were friends and we were doing our thing, and then COVID hit and I left LA to go spend time with my family in DC.
As you should, yeah.
And so we basically just spend time FaceTiming, watching shows together. And that's how we then eventually got to a place where we both were like, okay, there's nobody else. Do we want to make this official? And And so now it's 2 years going.
I love that. So where are you guys at right now? Like, what are you guys working on, I guess? So, like, I kind of want to hear the whole, like, background of, like, how did you get to where you're at? Like, maybe, who wants to take the lead here?
I was going to say ladies first.
Okay,
but,
I mean, we love a gentleman.
I came to the States to pursue acting.
Love it.
I went to New York for a year, studied out there, continued my studies with my BFA, came out here to
New York
LA.
Film Academy?
New York Film Academy.
Hey, me too.
So we all
we didn't bump into each other at school. Like,
so
such a small world. Like,
it is.
It trips me out, honestly, every time.
Everybody knows each other.
Like, the building's not even that big, so I'm like, I should have bumped into her.
Maybe we did at some point.
We probably did.
Depends when we all graduated.
Right.
So I graduated from my BFA in 2019, right before COVID happened.
Right.
Then I got into my OPT. That was sadly ruined by COVID because we all shut down. There wasn't a lot of work.
Yes.
And so then I did a little bit of projects here and there, commercials and stuff like that. But I kind of went freelance by myself. I didn't have representation, so it was kind of hard to grip on.
It is hard to freelance.
But it was a good experience for me now.
Right.
So then when COVID ended and we got together, I basically had not much time left in the country because of visa purposes. Yeah. So I had to choose to go back to school or work.
Which is a huge decision to be making. Plus it's it doesn't allow you to focus on your art and what you really want to be passionate about, because you're like, oh my God, I have to
it's just fast.
do
for
these
internationals,
paperwork
it's
and
hard.
Exactly. How do you deal with that? I feel like that's I hear so many stories about this, especially going to New York Film Academy.
Yeah.
And I always feel so bad because it's like you're not like they're not seeing the talent and like everything that you're bringing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, like
eventually I came to a spot where I said to myself, I don't think I'm done working out here yet because
Yeah.
I haven't done the work I wanted to achieve.
Right.
So I decided to go back to school. I'm back
Love
at
that.
NIFA right now.
Okay.
Getting my master's degree.
What are you doing at NIFA now?
Still acting.
Still acting. Okay.
I just decided to continue and see what else I can learn in the field. And I knew I always wanted to eventually maybe teach a bit and do those kind of things.
Okay.
So,
do you feel like you're learning different? Like what's different about the master class between or master program master instead of the bachelor? Sorry.
So I think some of the classes are very similar.
Okay.
A big difference in like the new media classes, the projects you're producing, you actually get to shoot them, and you actually have like the beginning pilot of a new media short that or episode that you want to put out.
Right.
So
okay.
if you wanted to further that later, you have that opportunity, which I think is really cool. And then other than that, I think classes are still kind of similar. It's a little bit more oriented towards acting because you don't have the like English, math, science classes.
Right.
But yeah, I'm about to actually right now I'm working on my last thesis.
Yay, congratulations.
A 10-minute short. Vita's in it.
That's exciting. We know Vita's been on the show before.
Yes, so she's my producer director.
I love that. That's so exciting.
Right now, heavy in the works.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
That's
so there are also the differences. The film is 8 to 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes. So
okay, wow. And have you found like that? Is that tricky for you, or has it been like easy?
Ooh, it's been interesting because I felt like a 5-minute script was hard to write a whole story arc.
Right? Yeah. It's like you want to add all this like content into like
but
no, like, less. Yeah.
And you got to keep it small.
Right.
But honestly, with 10-minute now, I found it hard to, even though I had all the big ideas, to still make this story an arc, which I actually today finalized kind of the part of the script, so now it's just little kinks. So I got the story back to the point.
That's amazing.
And I'm just very excited at this point to shoot it. It's an almost all-female crew. It's a story from women for women.
Oh
so
my God.
I'm actually really excited.
I was gonna say, like, can we get like a little hint of like what it's about, maybe? Like, obviously, I don't want to.
I can say it's actually because we're combining here dance and acting.
Ooh,
it's a story of a young female dancer who is about to go on tour and is confronted with an unexpected pregnancy, and she needs to choose between.
Oh my God, that's literally my type of movie. That's my type of movie.
And motherhood.
I love that.
And so the ending, I'm not gonna spoil to y'all because you gotta see it. But
I'm gonna watch it. You got me as an audience member.
So I'm really excited for that. And then now when I'm done with the film, hopefully get it into festivals and I'll be done in August. Yeah. And then next goal is getting my manager's producer.
I love that. You're thinking
manager,
of the next thing.
representation, and then hopefully get out there and work a bit.
That's huge. Okay. So it's like you're already thinking of like boom, boom, boom. I've got things like lined up and this is over. I'm working on this. Like, does that ever feel like overwhelming, or do you feel like you've got like maybe a structure down that maybe you can even share with us? Because I'm like,
it
gets stressful.
Little bit overwhelming. I think it gets very overwhelming when it comes to, especially as an international, seeing the opportunity, but also knowing how limited it is for you because of the visa status. Because we all know that with an OPT and an O1, it's very hard to book. If we look at the actual thing you need for an O1, it basically states you got to be famous, right? And so it's very difficult.
That's superficial.
I mean, if you really look, it says like criteria of like either have to be in like a global movie or a global show or a national running commercial.
Says that. Oh wow!
So it's like if you go in for it for acting, so it's very difficult to gain that visa, and even so, and that's just stories I've heard from friends of mine who have been on the O1. Okay. Even once you're on the O1, it actually gets more limited because then you can only work in acting. You can't produce and connect it a bit. And
I hate how it limits you. It's like putting you in a box when it's like, you know, you can do so much
And the
more.
hardest thing is I feel like you're demanding something that we don't get the opportunity to do because while we're in school, we are not allowed to.
I know. I thought that was shocking. And it wasn't even like a big deal. They're like, oh yeah, like don't expect to be working. Like the classes are very intense. You're going to be busy. Like, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but like I need to work. Like I need to pay my rent. Yeah, like
don't. So it's really hard, and I think it can become a little bit frustrating when you look out there and you're like, yo, all my American peeps are able to do
I know, it's not
and,
fair.
And work. But
yeah.
honestly, I think I'm just trying to set my goals, trying to always stay motivated, you know,
huge.
and he's a big help in that
yes,
too.
I want to hear a little bit.
We're going to hear about his career, and I only can say that when you live with somebody that has achieved a lot of stuff in your life and has been in movies that you watched as a kid, and you were like, oh, I wanted to be that. And now that's my boyfriend.
Okay, boyfriend. I didn't know.
You're making me blush.
I know. I'm like
looking at his resume. It's funny. I actually just recently had my class and we were looking at resumes, and I pulled up his resume. And my friend, she was like, oh, man, this is so discouraging to look at this. Like, I'm jealous, like that resume and like all that work. But it's really cool because he does have his connections and we try to work together because I still dance for passion and for hobby and fun.
Because that's how it started, right?
That's how I always, because my mom's a dancer, so I was thrown into that.
I love that.
I chose not to go the professional route as work.
Okay.
But I always chose it to keep it as a hobby.
Right.
Now, I'm never opposed to like do a step-up movie or something.
That's exactly
because I can dance and I can act. So
I was like, I'm getting step-up vibes. Like, can I get like a sequel? Well, I guess that
listen.
This is why I keep telling her to train because she's really good. Like,
I believe it.
She's really, really
Are we
good.
dancing hip-hop here? Like, what's hip-hop?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Well, I do other stuff too, which I'm stronger in.
Okay. Okay, wait, what else do you do?
I'm more on the contemporary ballet, lyrical side. That just comes natural to me.
Oh, yeah, because you're telling us, well, I mean, you're telling a story.
You're telling a story regardless, but I think it's just, I've been so trained and it's so from the flowy and the upright to go into the like heavy hip-hop, just like grounding yourself in your legs.
Right.
It's a hard time coming.
It's different.
It's different.
But I want to know.
Great trainer.
Yeah, I want to know. Like, how did it start for you? Like, what age did you start dancing?
Okay, so
into the mic.
Oh, you guys haven't even seen the goofiness yet.
I want to see the goofiness. That's what we're here for.
Okay, so really it started when I was 6. My mom just needed something to throw me into.
I love it.
And so she threw me into my aunt's studio.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kim Norrington back at home in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Love
originally
it.
from Springfield. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
We're having an anniversary in the I think in July 30th. And
coming up.
Hoping I can go back for that. But,
I hope so too.
In any case, I started out there. I dabbled with it. I just took hip hop and gymnastics.
Just
that.
Yeah,
well, no, because she had jazz and ballet and all of that too.
Right.
You know, she was really well trained. Her, her mentor was Frank Hatchett. So,
cool.
We would take trips to New York, so I got to see a little bit of like what was going on out there, and how like professional dancers got to do their thing. You know, every summer, or it was just a few summers, but I didn't really take it seriously. I was just chilling.
Yeah. It's your hobby. You're still enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a hobby. I'm still enjoying it. I was a kid. And then when I became 16, 17, I had been in the magical a cappella choir at my school.
Oh, so you sang. Okay. I was like,
all the time.
I mean, we have a mic.
I'm always singing. I love to sing. About the moon and the journey. No, I'm not even gonna sing that one. That's not even the one.
I sing too, but I don't know how to sing.
It's the shower singing.
Exactly. And the car singing too. I'm like, like thinking I'm in a music video, the whole shebang, you know what I mean?
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with being in the shower, just going off.
I'm vibing. For me, it's honestly deep thoughts in the shower. I'm like, like that was a good idea. Or like, maybe I should make that into a movie idea.
I'll be full on doing music videos in the shower. She'll walk by and be like, what is going on?
What is AJ, we gotta go.
And they're like, you got it bad. It's like, AJ.
I love it. Okay, wait, so you're in choir.
So I was in choir.
Okay,
yeah. Back to the story. So long. Back to the story. Just outing me like that. So I'm 16, 17, I'm singing, I'm dancing, I graduate, I ended up going to Atlanta.
Cool.
I went to the AUC, Clark Atlanta University, went and became a part of the Philharmonic Society. But I also was dancing with a bunch of groups, and I found a few professional dancers and started going to their studio. And from there, I realized, okay, cool, you got to stay in the professional studios and train with them, and then you can get the jobs. And I got my first big break in 2007.
Okay.
I think it was dancing background for Lloyd.
Oh,
like
nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
and so
cool.
I was like doing spot dates with him.
That's awesome.
And I got signed to XL Talent Agency, and things just kept growing from there. And I just kept building my resume. I've been on America's Best Dance Crew.
I love that show. Yeah. Wait, so how many hours are you putting in like a day or even a week to like get to like the level of, you know, getting hired like that? Like that's pretty cool.
When I started out, it was pretty intense. I was
I feel like it would be intense.
Anywhere from 4 to 8 hours of dancing a day. And training as well. Like, you know, I didn't do as much working out earlier in my career.
Right.
Excuse me. I think it was later on in my career when I was about 6-7 years in, and I realized, you know, I couldn't just go with my ability because I always was really, really good at picking up choreography.
Right. Okay.
But I also was a freestyle. This is before it was like normal for that to be the thing.
Right.
But like I was a freestylist. I was a street dancer. You know, I had a crew when I was in high school, and we would battle people and stuff.
How fun!
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
Like literally
like in the movies. I grew up like that too. Like just fangirling like Channing Tatum and like what was it, high school that they were doing or college, and they were like dancing doing the whole step up thing. I'm like, I'm literally gonna cry like so hard.
And then don't get there.
Never wondered if that stuff is real. It is real. We do battle. You
know? Really? Okay.
We do go to the club and be like, "What's up?" You know?
So how does? I mean, tell me, how does a dance battle work? Like, is it? I mean, obviously, it's literally just for fun, right?
Yeah,
it's like if there's no like actual
it depends
beef,
on
is
the
there?
form. It depends on the form. If you're at the club, and you're just with the homies. It's not really like what you see on the movies in that regard.
Right.
But we do have like the big competitions that, you know, are a bit more underground where you're like dancing in a specific style. You have 1-on-1s, 2v2s, and like popping or locking.
That's
breaking,
fun. I like that.
Right.
Yeah. You know, there's different techniques.
And who like judges it, I guess? Like how do you decide the winner?
Typically, there'll be like 2 or 3 OGs that like, have been in the battle scene for a very long time.
Right, that makes sense.
That are, you know, were hired by whoever the promoter is to come in and judge the event. You know, legendary names normally. Normally, depending on the event, you know. Right. If it's like a normal little school event, it's not like that. But like, if it's like a real underground event,
the kids.
Like, you know, unless you live in Cali, because Cali just has entertainers on entertainment.
Every age level.
You know? But besides that, like it really you really just have like a good panel of really well experienced, known, professional, you know, freestylers, you know, people who really get down and improv very well, and they'll judge the situation from top to bottom. You know, you do prelims, and then they break it down to brackets, kind of like NBA. You know,
it's literally like in the movies when they go in like the world dance competition or something. Yeah.
If you ever seen Red Bull. Red Bull competition.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it is. That's
all
just the largest scale. Yeah.
B-boying.
They actually just competed not too long ago in Atlanta. I'm mad I missed that, but I had a few friends competing in there.
Do you ever get nervous? Do you get nervous? Do you guys get nervous when you dance, like before a performance?
I'm fueled by the nerves. I will definitely say that. I'm fueled by it. It's less now. I think we, you know, as entertainers and really even athletes, you perform your best like right at that peak of like being a little nervous, but not so nervous.
Nervous where you're gonna like.
So like for me, I get to that point and I've learned how to settle in it. You know, I've learned how to just be like, all right, cool, I like this feeling, and just
use the nerves to aid you.
And use that to lead, you know, everything that I'm doing.
I always wonder, I'm like, because I used to, like, back when I thought I wanted to be an actress for like 5 minutes, I did drama, and then I did a play, and I was like so nervous, like standing there. I was like, I don't want to do this, and I was just like, how do like performers deal with this, like stage fright? But I'm sure you get used to it, like over time. But like, what
the more you do it, I mean, it's like makeup,
but your audience size grows too, though. You know, so it's like, are you just like not seeing past the like couple first rows or like?
Well, that's interesting because if we bring it back to his resume, I have asked those questions about certain shows he's done. I'm like, how when you have these thousands of people in front of you, are you not scared to mess up a move and fall on your face?
And what happens if you do mess up a move? How do you come back
to being professional is knowing how to adjust.
Okay.
It's not necessarily
ding, 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 tip of the day.
You know, like you have to be able to adjust on the fly like this, because anything can happen. The music can go out, it can start raining and you're outside, and now you got to figure out whether you staying on stage to keep going or you just whatever, or you could mess up a step.
Someone falls. I feel like it happens.
Falls, you're like, you forget your cue.
Right.
So a lot of times, and that doesn't happen very often.
You're like, but not on my stage.
But occasionally it will. You'll mess up a step just out of habit. Out of you built the habit.
You're
on
human.
The dance.
It happens. Sometimes
maybe you were trying something different that day. With your attitude or something, your character, and you mess up. So the key there is just to keep going and not allow yourself to get to that insecure place in your head, where you're just doubting everything. Just remembering that you have this greatness that you're sharing with everybody, and then having fun. That's the other
huge.
big one. If you're out there having fun and you mess up one little step, and it's not going to be the end of the world as long as you keep going, because the crowd has no idea
they probably
what's going on. They're just like, it's amazing.
They're looking so good.
They're looking at Chris or Ari or whoever.
Chris or Ari. I mean,
back to the resume.
Okay, I'm like, you just name dropped on me.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how did we get from choir to Chris and Ari?
To Lloyd,
Well, I mean, the thing about being a professional dancer is you have to spread yourself out a little bit, because at the end of the day, there's these jobs, they last about, anywhere from a few days to a few years, depending on who you're working with and what the project is, and that depends on what they're doing as a business at that time. So, like I was saying with Lloyd, it would be spot dates. We would leave for a weekend and then come back, or we'd be gone for a week and then come back, and I'd be back for a week. And then there were some jobs like the tours, where you would be in rehearsal for a month and a half, and then go on tour for another 2 months, or go on tour for that next year, and you're on and off the road constantly. With them. So it's just it's a constant little swim,
like a wave.
It's a wave you kind of have to ride. And so for me, I just kept working my way up the ladder. It didn't just happen overnight for me.
And can you elaborate on that? What exactly was that working up? Because I feel like there's no clear path, right? There's not do this and you'll make it. It's you kind of have to figure it out. So it's always so interesting to know what your path was or is.
There's a lot of general things that you can do to put yourself in the right position as an entertainer. The first thing, of course, is being a good student. And training with the people that you want to work with, or work around the people you want to work with. So that was the first thing I did. The first thing I did was I got into the classes, in Atlanta, around all the people that were doing the jobs. And from there, I made myself available. I just networked.
That's always huge.
And networked. And the people that really rocked with me, I stuck with them. And then, it just kept growing and growing. Whenever there was an opportunity, my name would get thrown in the pot, and then if it was right, it was right. You know, and the more I did that, the more I just worked on my image. I got better headshots, better, better
it's all part of it.
It's all part of it.
I need headshots. By the way, if anyone's out there.
Eventually you get to a point where you've been doing it long enough, and you built up enough of a reputation that work starts coming to you.
Yes.
And now you have to snowball off
Don't
of that.
We want that?
I mean, that is the essential goal for every artist, right? It's you offer your, you're like, I can do this, I can do that. You need an extra hand, I got you. And then eventually, people start noticing your work and they like what you do, and then they do start coming to you, and it feels good. It's
it feels so fulfilling.
Switch up, so right? Fulfilling. Yeah, it's nice.
Especially when the family didn't necessarily believe in you, and then you're like,
that's always a
I got work coming to me now.
Yeah. I love it. So did you audition to be dancing with Chris and Ari? How does that happen? How do you get to that level?
Well, I mean, the first step, of course, is all the stuff I was saying, and then auditioning, of course.
Right. Okay.
A lot of times that can be tough because.
Where do you find these auditions? Are you going on
I'm signed to an agent.
Okay.
I was originally signed to XL Talent in Atlanta, but I moved to Block Talent Agency. Shout out to Block.
Okay.
They're awesome. I love Block. Shout out to Nisha and Jennifer. Y'all take care of me.
Love that.
But you get an agent. The typical kind of like acting. You get an agent, you get a manager.
I like it. That's very similar.
And they put you in the pot for these, auditions. They send out your headshots. They send out your information to the choreographers that are hiring. You go out and you go to the audition, and if they like you, they keep you. They keep your headshot and stuff. And a lot of times it's frustrating because your first 1,000 auditions you typically don't really get. Or you get to the end.
It sucks that it's like that. Yeah, I know.
But that's where the networking comes in.
Right.
Where you have to kind of network with the people, so that way when you come to the audition, they've already seen your face a little bit,
right?
And then they take you a little bit more seriously,
and always build on your strength too.
Exactly. And just because one audition doesn't work out, even 10 or even 30, sometimes it might feel like I'm not booking anything, or why are things slow. It just takes one thing to hit.
Yep.
So that's all you have to remember.
That one,
exactly that one thing.
She's like, tell me.
I was like, no,
we want to know.
At what time? When?
Well, after Lloyd.
Lloyd?
How long after Lloyd?
How long after? I mean, it's weird because it's just there's so many little things that happen,
like little
layers.
Okay.
Like there were commercials I booked just because I knew a choreographer.
Well, what brought you from, because you were in Atlanta, what brought you to LA?
LA,
So I had a really, really good year in 2011.
Okay.
I ended up, rolling off of doing America's Best Dance Crew
2010. Right. How far did you get in the competition?
We got kicked off first round. Actual competition.
It's okay.
But it was an extremely good experience.
Right. No, it's all about the experience,
a lot of
memories.
The thing about those shows too is you don't see, but like all of the crews, we build like a camaraderie amongst ourselves. So when I got out here, I had already had a relationship with all these other crews that we were cool with, because we all respected each other. We all came from different places and everybody wanted to make it in LA.
Right.
So it was actually really cool. I was on season 5, so we called ourselves Seasoned Fries.
Oh, that's cool.
So Seasoned Fries.
I'm gonna want McDonald's after this.
Exactly.
Ooh, I'm hungry.
And I'm like, wait, my stomach just growled.
But I did that. I rolled off of that success.
Okay.
I left the crew because some other stuff, and then I did an audition for Step Up Revolution, the 4th one.
Okay. Childhood dreams coming true.
And I didn't hear from them for 6 months.
Okay. What did you think? Could I have done something different? Like, did you have doubts? Or were you like, no, I gave it my all. Like, whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You always had that. We drove to Florida, and funny enough, right before that, well, I'm just hopping ahead. I knew the choreographers from a spot that I did for Footloose.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
2011. They just needed some people to come in for the intro and have us do like a lot of the footwork and stuff.
Right.
I came in, and the choreographers that were Jamal Sims and Don Draco Johnson. They knew that one of the people that was training me, Quincy Lamar, out in Atlanta. So I just connected like that, and then went down for the audition because they were choreographing that, and they kind of let me do my thing, and I guess I impressed the director enough.
And when they're like, okay, do your thing, like, are they like, you got 2 minutes, or is that like in the movies?
Well, typically in a dance audition, everybody comes in, you give your headshot and resume, or you get put on a list, and you wait to the end to give that. But you come in, you learn a piece, of choreography for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then really normally it's like 30 minutes because they want to see how you interpret it. Right. And then on the spot, you got to do groups of 5 or groups of 6, 7.
That's
do you get the numbers?
Yes, we get numbers.
Wow.
We get like these big numbers on us, and they have like number 17 come up. You got to go up there and stagger. I like going early.
Yeah.
In the groups, I don't like going late. I just want to get it out of the way because I learned choreography, and my memory is like a hard drive, and I constantly am filling it all the way up. So I'm like, I just need to get this out of my brain,
And so when you see them dancing, like, is it like, okay, easy, and you're just like, okay, like it comes naturally? I was trying to dance there. I was like, wait, why am I doing that? I can't wait. Why did I just do shit? I'm like, I feel the energy is coming through me. Everybody. Like I was in a dance class. Dim the lights. No, does it come naturally, or like, have you ever just been like, I'm not getting this,
There's plenty of moments in my career where it's been very, very difficult. I think a big piece of that process is understanding your body, but more so understanding that your will. You have to have the will to get there and do it and understand it. And my will is really what took me to that next level, because I just said, you know what, I don't know this right now. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. And I would take, these classes, and I would, they would teach eight counts, and I would get like 2 or 3, but I would bring it home and train it into my body. And eventually your body gets a vocabulary to where like it becomes second nature.
Right.
Learning that.
And it's all repetition, really.
Right.
It really is. It's all repetition and getting things in your system and understanding the vibe and the flow of the music that you're dancing to.
Yeah.
And once you kind of, all of that starts to come together, you just start to feel more and more comfortable and more confident.
I love that. Is it similar for you too? Like when you dance?
No. I'll be in the back.
No, be real. I love it. Everyone's
No.
different, so I like to hear perspectives.
I think for me with dance specifically, because obviously there's a huge difference in where he's at with dance and where I'm at with dance now.
And when you say that, where would you? Because I'm like,
where would I put myself?
I feel like you downplay yourself.
No.
Like,
so I guess
put yourself on that scale. You know what I mean?
I've been trained with dance since I was 3 years old.
Okay, so we got experience
with ballet.
My
mom was just like, okay, here are your little ballet shoes.
I love
bow on the right
cute.
one, so I know where
cute.
right and left was, and then I learned it. Like we have clips in my little tutus,
so
just
cute.
like.
So cute.
But in the end of the day, I think for me, throughout the time of like 13. Maybe earlier, 10 to 14 before I went to my private school, because then I had to leave my hometown, so I didn't get to be there as much except on the weekends. Right. I used to dance a lot. My mom had opened her own dance school or club in our hometown.
Really cool. That's really cool.
And she had a huge dance school in Germany before we decided to move to
International.
Austria. Yeah. So she built that up, and I would go train there once or twice a day every 2 to 3 days of the week. Wow. So eventually it got to a point where I would train Monday through Friday and then take classes also on Saturday, and it was more hobby. And we had our little shows, and I would be in the shows. And then when I came out here, I remember when I lived in New York, I wanted to get into dance, but I really didn't have the time. Okay. I was just so busy with school that year went by so fast. And I was like, wow, I didn't dance at all. So I did actually have a gap from 15 to, I would say, 19, where I barely danced. So also with that, just like with acting and anything else, your craft, whatever, even if you're a skateboarder or whatever, you got to keep working your craft, because you will get rusty. On a shelf,
and let it collect dust.
So that's what happened. So when I came out here to LA, and we recently watched old videos back, so it's interesting though to look at it now and see where I progressed from. When I came to LA, I started taking a lot of classes at Millennium. And
for people who don't know, it's a dance studio.
Yes, shout out to Millennium.
Yes, y'all. Check it out.
So I would train there, and I would just take contemporary ballet, and then I actually through Beta, because she loved hip hop. She was like, you should come to hip hop. And I'm not gonna lie, the first 3 months in hip hop, and I trained with some very established and strong dancers. Lights.
Sorry, lights.
It was like me too.
Yeah,
I danced too.
Ghost.
But they are.
Sometimes the lights.
They are. I mean, they're all connected, so everybody knows everybody. But they just had some really good teachers who I started to take regularly, and I would be in the back just wanting to, I would laugh at myself. I would literally be in the room and I'd be like, I probably look so funny to all the people sitting at the glass window looking, because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's me at the gym.
But I eventually just realized, and that's really one thing I love about training out here, which I always say to all my friends that I want to get into dance.
Yeah.
When you go into these studios, yes, I'm not going to lie, it is very intimidating as a beginner to be there and have all of them around you who are just picking it up in 1 second, and you're like, oof. But the cool thing is everybody is just there to connect. People are friendly. They respect everybody that comes in.
It's not intimidating. It feels like a family, people dancing, just having fun. We're all doing this together, which is so important, because I
get more comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I started just taking random classes once I got to him. And I mean, at this point.
Oh, and that's how you guys met.
So at this point, I mean, I take class only once a week because I don't really have time, but I always take his class. And I don't know. I can speak for myself. He can say whatever because he's the teacher, but I do see a huge improvement, especially in hip hop, from where I started to where I am at now. And one thing I've realized is I'm a person I need to do steps over and over and over and over.
I mean, yeah, I
can't pick it up in one go like some of them. But I have a good ear for music, so I can hear it. Right. It's more just repeating. And so repetition helps a lot.
I think definitely for you in specific, it's more so having the time to put into actually training the things that you know you need to work on into your body. Because I will say the hours that I put in weren't really so much in the studio in classes as much as it was at home.
That's what I would think.
You know, drilling these techniques,
like going in,
drilling my mind into knowing what the music is. And you know, if you don't have the time to like give yourself that little out, sometimes that becomes that barrier that you have to break through, you know? Yeah.
So now he's just at home and he's like, hey babe, I'm making up choreo. You want to come join me? And I'm like, I'm on the couch. I'll be on the couch and I'll be like, I just worked on my film for a second. Like, can I just break? He's like, come on, babe.
TikTok.
I love it. Yeah. So you just like, you're like, okay, what song's like trending right now? I'm going to make a dance or, oh, cool. Yeah. Is there like anything that it's like, not like off limits, but you're like, no, it's like outdated. We don't do those. Or is everything like on the table? You can do whatever you want. Everyone like, what's the vibe at the dance class?
To go with my brand.
Yeah. What is your brand, by the way?
I mean, I'm just a hip hop head. I love like,
it. A hip hop head. I haven't heard that. I like that.
I love hip hop. I love R&B. And most of the choreography that I do is to R&B, R&B and hip hop artists.
Love that.
You know, I've done a bunch of pieces to Bryson Tiller's music, Miguel's music, of course, Chris Brown's music, Lloyd's music, choreographed for Lloyd. You know, I've done a lot more of the R&B style stuff, but I also have this other side of me that loves doing a lot of the older hip hop tracks, and the newer stuff too. I'm making a piece right now to Kendrick Lamar's new album.
Great new album. I was gonna, which song can you talk about?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
We're choosing between like three. It's the main conversation in the car.
Does it have? What if it's a remix with all three? Like,
well, I was thinking about that too. That would be kind of cool.
You did,
but the tempos don't really match up.
I already know the footwork now. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm excited to see that. That's gonna be really cool.
You know, it's just I try to take really raw like hip hop, like the original flow. I like doing choreography to a lot of the older style music, but at the same time I lived in Atlanta, so anything with that Atlanta pocket and that jig,
of course,
I'm gonna go for it too. So I just pull from all these different places and all these different cultures that I've experienced.
That's huge too, mixing in the cultures. Like that's amazing.
My thing is authenticity. I try to learn all of the styles I possibly can in the most authentic way possible. If it's Memphis juking, I want to learn from somebody who's really good in Memphis. If it's popping, I want to learn from Mr. Wiggles and Poppin' Pete. You know, if it's some Bay Area stuff, I'm watching all the
Bay
E40 videos.
I grew up in the Bay Area as well. So.
I'm learning from Keita, and that's the other thing too. I learn from the kids now too. Like I'm a bit older, smidge, and so now I'm like
it's
learning.
Like a mystery. I'm like I'm confused. Older? No, I don't believe it.
Yeah, well, I mean, older for a dancer. Like I'm still young. But,
there's like a timestamp for dancers?
Oh yeah, huge timestamp. You got from the time you're about to
It's like I don't know if you've ever seen House Bunny, but it was like 27 and like Playboy years was like 47, which I was like, really, that's so dramatic, but it was funny. But I wanted to, before we wrap up, because we're almost getting there. I know we're gonna have,
but if you want to share something more and then pick up,
I mean, if you have any like tips on like what really, how can you be a successful dancer or make it really like your career, like your main path. Same with you. Like I want to hear from both of you, but whoever wants to go first.
I would say the biggest tip I can give is believe in yourself. Believe in your art, yourself, what you're bringing to the table, and always work really hard and keep growing. Never settle, never get arrogant, stay humble. Stay grounded and just keep growing. And
I love that.
One more thing, understand that this is it's the entertainment business.
Right.
The entertainment part is really important. You have to be really good at that. But you also have to understand this is a business. You need to know how to handle yourself as a business.
100%.
Otherwise, you're going to get taken advantage of.
You're actually the first person who said that on the podcast, and that's such a big thing to like talk about, because like I feel like as artists, we do focus all like in our like putting into our art, our passion, like, you know, this is like what we made, like, but it's like we have to also learn how to promote it and like sell it and, you know, get it to the next level. And that's where like a lot of people struggle. Like me, I struggle too, because I'm like, this is new, this is different. They didn't teach me this.
That's where we get all these stories of the you know, getting taken advantage of.
Right.
You get all
exactly.
You gotta stay strong in yourself. Don't compromise your own individuality either in your craft.
Exactly.
Because that's just you. So understanding entertainment and business, I think that's the biggest key in acting and dance and any of these.
I love
industries.
I love that.
Right?
What about you? Any I don't want to say last word. It sounds so dramatic.
I think honestly, coming from a perspective of an international that hasn't had these opportunities yet, it's just I look at these things happening to him and people around me that are more established or have had their career just as a huge push for me to see that I can get there too.
You can.
And I try to learn from the best in acting. I really try to work on my craft and take the best out of everything every time you work.
Right.
Even if it's an audition or even if it's just a scene you're doing at home with some friends.
I agree.
Do it as if you're doing it for the biggest job you could get, because only there you get your full exposure in that moment to also see your availability of craft that you have. Because if you do something half, then you might not experience.
You might as well not even
if it's full and you give it your all, and then you find new things.
Exactly.
So I think it's more a thing. Like in the end of the day, yes, it's hard to look at this as an international and say, "Wow, there's so much I got to do on the visa side to get there."
Right.
But if you truly believe, like we've heard this a bunch of times, the know that where somebody else left off and went another route was the know that the next person worked on harder and got the next job.
Ooh, I got chills. Yes, that is.
Yeah,
powerful. I love it. And I just want to say I'm proud of you for going for it. Not moving from like far away, not like a whole ass country, like fucking 13 hours away. Like it's huge. It's huge. So like big props to you. It's not easy, and like I think it's amazing. And good luck on your short film. I know it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited to see it. So let me know when you have a screening.
For sure.
Again, thank you guys so much for coming on. If you guys want to throw out your social media handles or like what, you know, dance, let them know when your dance class is at what time.
Definitely come see me. I teach every Wednesday and Saturday at Millennium Dance Complex, 4:15 on Wednesday, 4 o'clock on Saturday. So come through, come rock with me. It's gonna be a blast. I'm gonna challenge you, but I'm also gonna, you know, crack some jokes and we're gonna have some fun. So come through. My Instagram is AJAYESKEENE official. AJ Skeen official. That's my IG, my TikTok, my Twitter. You can find me on all those platforms. Oh, and my YouTube is the same as well. So come check me out. I'm dropping new material every week.
I love that. That's how it goes. Yeah.
And I will be there in class training with all of you guys. V's been there, so I just want to say, and I'm gonna hope to see you
would love to go. I would love to go. I'll probably be in the very back, but I'll be there.
But I mean,
nobody look at me.
My Instagram is Paulie Pauli with 2 I's, and then Sophie SOPHIE all together. Paulie Sophie. That's also my TikTok and my Instagram.
I love it.
Right now I'm private, but y'all can follow. I will let you in.
I will let you in.
For another reason. But I would just say, like, keep updated to see the film. I think it's going to be a blast.
Do you have a title yet for the film?
Yes, it's called Ellipsis.
Okay, we'll keep
an
eye out,
there's a GoFundMe. if anybody wants to donate.
Yeah,
but if not, that's
fine
fine
too.
too.
Where can they find the link?
It's actually on my Instagram, and
Perfect.
I will send it to you as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, I'm just excited.
Help a filmmaker out. Like, come on, support us.
And even if there's questions, I always like DMs of people asking me, internationals being like, "Hey, what did you do? What were your steps?" I'm always there to help.
And that's amazing because I feel like people need that, and like it's nice to have that comfort and that like safe space of like, oh, we're going through the same thing. Exactly.
Far away from home.
Exactly. Your family far away from home. You couldn't have said it better. So
any serious inquiries, feel free.
Right. If you need a dance teacher, dance teachers, acting teachers,
you need artist development,
private
classes. I do choreo for high schools. I'm stepping into the choreo realm now. So if you need any of that, please hit me up. We can discuss, talk some business.
I love that.
Creative direction.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, and I hope you guys come back soon, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Yay!
Thank you.